I dedicated my whole to taking care of my parents. But when they passed away I found out they left everything to the sister who never even visited them. I need to get this out before I lose my mind completely. 3 months ago, I was planning a wedding with Sarah, the woman I'd loved for 6 years. Today I'm sitting in a studio apartment that smells like instant ramen and regret, wondering how I became the villain in my own story. It started with a text message, just one text message. Hey stranger, saw promotion announcement on LinkedIn, drinks to celebrate. Emma, my college girlfriend from 8 years ago. The one who got away, or so I told during those late nights when Sarah was working her nursing shifts and I was alone with my thoughts and a bottle of. I should have deleted it. Should have shown Sarah, should have done literally anything except what I did. Instead I stared at that message for 20 minutes, my heart racing like I was 16 again. Emma had always been the wild one, the spontaneous one who made me feel like the main character in some romantic movie. Sarah was different, stable, caring, the woman who brought me soup when I was sick and never forgot our anniversary. But Emma represented everything I thought I'd given. Thanks, sure one drink won't, those 7 words destroyed everything. We met at that trendy bar downtown, the one with the dim lighting and craft cocktails that cost more than Sarah's lunch for a week. Emma looked exactly like I remembered, maybe better. She laughed at all my jokes, touched my arm when she talked, looked at me like I was the most interesting person in the room. For 2 hours, I wasn't Sarah's reliable boyfriend who took out the trash and remembered to buy groceries. I was the guy Emma couldn't get over, the one she'd been thinking about all these years. I always wondered what would have happened if we'd tried harder. She said, her fingers tracing the rim of her martini glass. If we hadn't let distance what we had. I knew I should leave. I knew I should go home to Sarah, who was probably already asleep after a 12-hour shift, her scrubs folded neatly on the dresser we'd picked out together at IKEA. Instead, I ordered another drink. I admitted, and the words tasted like impossibility all at once. That's when I sent the text to Sarah. Working late, don't wait. My first real lie, though I didn't think of it that way then. I told it was just buying time, just extending a perfectly innocent evening with an old friend. By the time I got home at 2 a.m., Sarah was fast asleep, her phone charging on the nightstand next to a framed photo of us from last Christmas. I stood in the doorway watching her breathe, feeling like the worst person alive and somehow exhilarated at the same time. The next morning Sarah made me coffee just the way I liked it, and asked about my work thing. I lied so easily it scared me. Told her about a client dinner that never happened, complaints about colleagues I'd never met, she my forehead and told me she was proud of how hard I was working. That felt like a branding iron. But I'd already crossed a line I didn't even know existed. Emma and I started texting daily. Nothing inappropriate at first, just catching, sharing memes, reminiscing about college. Innocent enough that I could rationalize it. Sarah noticed I was on my phone more, but when she asked I'd say it was work stuff. More lies, each one easier than the last. 3 weeks later Emma suggested lunch, just as friends, she said, but we both knew that wasn't true. We'd been building something in those text messages, some alternate reality where we're the couple who made it, who figured it out, who lived happily ever after. I told Sarah I had a client lunch. She packed me a sandwich anyway, just in case the restaurant is terrible, she said with that smile that used to make my day. I the sandwich away on my way to meet Emma. Lunch became dinner. Dinner became drinks. Drinks became sitting in Emma's car in the restaurant parking lot, talking about roads not taken and second chances. I never stopped loving, she whispered, and before I could think, before I could remember Sarah's face or the ring hidden in my sock drawer, or the deposits we'd already put down for the wedding venue, I her. It lasted maybe 10 seconds. 10 seconds that obliterated 6 years. When I pulled away, Emma was crying. I'm sorry, she said. I know we're engaged. The word hit me like a engaged. I was engaged to Sarah. Sarah who trusted me completely. Sarah who'd been planning our future while I was busy destroying it. I should go, I said, but I didn't move. I sat there in Emma's car looking at her tear-stained face, and felt like I was drowning in my own selfishness. This doesn't have to mean anything, Emma said quietly. We can pretend it never happened. But it did mean something. It meant I was capable of betraying the woman I claimed to love. It meant I was weak and selfish and everything I'd never wanted to be. I drove home in a daze. Sarah was waiting, worried because I'd been gone so long. She'd made my favorite dinner, lit candles, put on the dress I'd bought her for her birthday. Surprise, she said, throwing her arms around me. I know I've been stressed with work, so I thought we could have a nice quiet evening together. I held her while she talked about her day, about her patients, about the centerpieces she'd found for our wedding reception. Every word felt like a twisting deeper. That night, lying next to her while she slept, I made a decision that would haunt me forever. I was going to see Emma again. I'm shaking as I write this part. Even now, 3 months later, I can barely stand to remember what I did next. The second time was planned. That's what makes it so much worse. There could have been a mistake, a moment of weakness I could have learned from. Instead, I turned it into a choice. Emma texted me the next day. I can't stop thinking about last night. I know this is complicated, but I meant what I said. I never stopped loving. I stared at that message for an hour. I could have ended it right here. It was a mistake. That I loved Sarah. That we needed to stop talking. Instead, I wrote back, I feel the same way. But this is so messed. It doesn't have to be, she replied. Who can figure this out? Figure this out. Like there was some magical solution where I could have Emma without destroying Sarah. Where I could eat my cake and keep it too. We started meeting regularly. Coffee shops on the other side of town. Parks where no one we knew would see us. Long drives to nowhere. Talking about everything except the woman waiting for me at home. I became a master of deception. I joined a book club to explain my Tuesday absences. Created fictional work emergencies for weekend meetups. Deleted text messages and cleared browser histories like I was running some kind of spy operation. Sarah never suspected. Why would she? I'd never given her any reason not to trust me. She'd joke about how much I was reading lately, how dedicated I was to my career. Each innocent comment felt like another nail in my coffin. The worst part was how good I felt when I was with Emma. For those stolen hours I felt alive in a way I hadn't in years. She made me feel special, desired, like I was this irresistible man that women fought over. I started finding fault with Sarah. She was too predictable, too comfortable. She didn't challenge me the way Emma did. She went to bed too early, worried too much about money, wasn't spontaneous enough. I was rewriting our entire relationship to justify what I was doing, turning Sarah's love and stability into character flaws. It's how the human brain can rationalize anything when it wants to. 2 months into this double, Emma said the words that changed everything. I got a job offer here. I'm thinking of taking it. She'd been living 2 states away, which had made our affair feel temporary contained. But if she moved here permanently? That's great, I heard saying even as alarm bells screamed in my head. Is it though, she asked. What are we doing really? I mean, what's the endgame here? I didn't have an answer. I'd been living day to day, stealing moments without thinking about consequences. But Emma moving here would force a decision I wasn't ready to make. That night Sarah was making wedding favors at the kitchen table when I got home. Little bags of almonds tied with silver ribbon, each one a reminder of the future I was sabotaging. Only 4 more months, she said happily, not looking from her work. I can't believe how fast it's going. Mrs. Patterson asked about today. She said she can't wait to see in Tux. Patterson was Sarah's elderly neighbor who'd basically adopted her when her parents died. She'd been more excited about our engagement than some of our actual family members. For months, I repeated, my voice sounding hollow. Sarah finally looked, and for a terrifying moment, I thought she could see everything written on my face. The lies, the betrayal, the other woman whose name I whispered in hotel rooms while Sarah worked to save lives. Okay honey, seemed distant lately. This was my chance. I could have confessed right then. Fallen to my knees and begged forgiveness. Ended the affair and fought for our relationship. Instead I said just work stress. Know how it is. More lies. Always more lies. Well, she said, standing and wrapping her arms around me. After the wedding we can start thinking about kids. I know we talked about waiting, but I'm ready when she wanted to have children with me. This woman who I was betraying daily was planning to create with me. I excused and in the bathroom. The next day, Emma took the job. I want to be near, she said over lunch at our usual spot. I want to see where this goes. Emma, I'm getting married in 4 months. Though, really, because don't act like someone who's happy about getting married. She was right, and that terrified me. Somewhere in the middle of all this sneaking around, I'd started to believe my own lies about Sarah. Start to think maybe I was with the wrong person. What are saying? I'm saying maybe this is the universe giving us another chance. Maybe we're supposed to be together. The universe. As if cosmic forces were responsible for my choices. As if destiny made me download that dating app where I'd met Sarah 6 years ago, made me propose to her, made me cheat on her. I need time to think, I said. Okay, Emma said, reaching across the table to squeeze my hand. But don't take too long. I start the new job next month, and I don't want to be the other woman forever. The other woman. That's what she called herself, like it was some temporary inconvenience instead of an accurate description of our entire relationship. That weekend was Sarah's bridal shower. Her friends and family filled our apartment, laughing and opening gifts and celebrating a future I was actively sabotaging. I hid in the bedroom, claiming I was sick, listening to the sounds of pure joy from the woman whose heart I was about to shatter. Her sister found me there around noon. We're missing all the good stuff, she said. Sarah keeps looking toward the door, hoping he'll feel better and join us. I just need to rest. She really loves, no, like scary amounts. Sometimes I worry she loves more than love her. If she only knew how right she was. That night, after everyone left, Sarah climbed into bed next to me and showed me all the gifts. Kitchen stuff, bath towels, picture frames for our future home. Look what mom got us, she said, holding a set of expensive sheets. She said every new couple deserves to sleep like royalty. My mother had never liked Sarah much, thought she was too simple for me. But she'd bought us sheets fit for a king and queen because that's what do for people who are getting married. Sarah. I started, not knowing what I was going to say. Do ever wonder if we're too young to get married, if maybe we should see what else is out there? She was quiet for so long I thought she'd fallen asleep. When she finally spoke, her voice was small and scared. Do want to see what else is out there? Yes, I thought. I already am. No, I said out loud. I was just wondering what thought. She turned to face me in the dark. I don't want anyone else. I've never wanted anyone else, or it for me. I rolled over and pretended to go to sleep while she cried silently next to me. 2 weeks later, I made the decision that destroyed everything. I told Emma I was going to call off the wedding. I never got the chance to call off the wedding. Sarah found out about Emma 3 days before I planned to end our engagement. It was a Tuesday. Sarah had picked my phone to check the time because hers was dead, and Emma's message popped on the lock screen. Can't wait to wake next to every morning once this wedding mess is over. Every morning. Wedding mess. The words that ended my as I knew it. I was in the shower when I heard Sarah scream. Not a yell, not a shout, a scream. The sound of a heart breaking in real time. By the time I got out she was sitting on our bed holding my phone, reading through months of messages I'd been too arrogant to delete. Who is Emma? She asked, her voice barely a whisper. I could have lied. Should have lied maybe. Told her it was a misunderstanding, a wrong number, anything except the truth. Instead I stood there dripping wet in a towel, watched my entire world collapse. Sarah. I can explain. Is Emma. She's someone I used to date, in college. Sarah scrawled through more messages, her face getting paler with each one. Been seeing her for months. While we've been planning our wedding. While I've been working extra shifts to pay for the flowers, said wanted. The flowers. I'd insisted on expensive arrangements because Emma mentioned she loved peonies. Another detail that made everything so much worse. I was going to call off the wedding. Sarah looked at me like I'd slapped her. Call off the wedding, not call off the affair. Call off the wedding. That's not what I meant. No, that's exactly what meant. She stood, still holding my phone. Weren't gonna choose me, we're gonna choose her. I wanted to deny it, but we both knew she was right. In my mind I'd already moved in with Emma, started anew, convinced it was fate or destiny or some other cosmic nonsense. How long? Sarah asked. Sarah, please, let me just explain. Adoloming. 3 months. She doubled over like I'd punched her in the stomach. 3 months, we sent out invitations 2 months ago. I've been planning to leave me while I've been addressing invitations to our wedding. The invitations, beautiful cream-colored cards with our names in gold script. Sarah had spent hours writing addresses in her perfect handwriting, so proud of how elegant they looked. I never meant for this to happen. But it did happen. Every single day for 3 months, woke and chose to lie to me. Chose to betray me. Chose her. Sarah walked to our closet and pulled out a suitcase. I want gone. Tonight, where am I going to go? She laughed, but it sounded more like sobbing. I don't know, maybe can stay with Emma. I'm sure she has room for now that she's moved here to break our relationship. How did know she moved here? I read messages, remember? All of them, every selfish word. She the phone in my chest. Get dressed and get out. I never want to see again. I got dressed in silence while she packed my things. Not carefully, not lovingly like she used to when I traveled for work. She just grabbed armfuls of clothes and shoved them into suitcases. When she got to my dresser, she found the ring. The engagement ring I'd bought for her 2 years ago. The one I'd saved for months to afford. Asking her coworkers what kind of stone she preferred. What style she'd want to wear for the rest of her. She held it to the light, and for a moment, I thought she might put it on one last time. Instead, she dropped it in the trash can next to her makeup table. Sarah, don't. That cost. I don't care what it cost. Her voice was steel. It's now. Just like everything else promised me. I wanted to dig it out of the trash, but something in her expression stopped me. This wasn't grief anymore. This was rage. Pure justified rage. The wedding's in 3 days, I said stupidly. I know when the wedding is. I planned the whole thing while we're busy planning to abandon me. She zipped the last suitcase. I get to call everyone and explain that my fiancé has been cheating on me for months. I get to return the gifts, cancel the flowers, pay the cancellation fees for the venue. The venue. We'd put down a deposit of $5,000, non-refundable. Sarah, the money. Take suitcases and get out. Now. I grabbed my things and headed for the door. Can we talk about this later? When I've had time to There is no later is no us. There will never be an us again. Those were the last words Sarah ever said to me. I moved in with Emma that night. She was thrilled, talking about how we could finally be together, how everything had worked out for the best. I couldn't bring to tell her that nothing felt like it had worked out, that I felt hollow, empty, like I'd traded my soul for fool's gold. The fallout was swift and brutal. Sarah told everyone what I'd done. Her family, my family, our mutual friends. She didn't embellish or exaggerate. She didn't need to. The truth was damning enough. My mother called me crying. How could do this to that sweet girl? She loved more than deserved. My sister blocked me on social media after posting a long tribute to Sarah, calling her the sister she'd always wanted and me a coward who didn't deserve loyalty. Sarah's friends made sure everyone in our social circle knew what happened. I became a cautionary tale, the guy women warned each other about. The one who seemed perfect until he destroyed everything. Work was. Sarah had friends there, people who'd been invited to our wedding. They looked at me like I was something they'd scraped off their shoes. My boss, who'd planned to attend the ceremony, could barely make eye contact. 3 weeks after moving in with Emma, I realized I'd made a terrible mistake. Not just the cheating, though that was unforgivable, but choosing Emma over Sarah. Emma was exciting for stolen moments, but she wasn't the kind of person Bill to with. She was selfish, demanding, jealous of the time I spent at work or with friends. She wanted constant validation that I'd made the right choice, constant assurance that she was worth losing Sarah over. But how could I give her what I didn't believe? 2 months later, Emma and I broke. She said I was still hung on Sarah, that I talked about my ex more than I talked about our future. She was right. I tried to reach out to Sarah then. Sent her a long email apologizing, explaining that I'd realized my mistake, begging for another chance. She never responded. I found out later from a mutual friend that she'd blocked my email address the day after I moved out. 6 months after the wedding that never happened. I heard Sarah was dating someone new, a doctor she'd met at the hospital. Her friends posted pictures of them together hiking at dinner parties at the beach. Sarah looked happy in a way I'd never seen when she was with me. Peaceful. Free. I realized then that I'd never made her truly happy. I'd been a placeholder, someone to fill the space until the right person came along. The cheating had just revealed what was probably always true: I wasn't good enough for her. A year later, I heard they were engaged. The mutual friend who told me said it was a small ceremony, family only. No big white dress, no expensive venue, no months of planning. Just two people who loved each other and wanted to make it official. I stayed home that weekend and drank into oblivion, wondering if I'd robbed Sarah of her dream wedding, or if I'd simply given her the chance to find something better. 2 years later, I'm still alone. I've tried dating, but it never works out. Either they find out about what I did to Sarah and lose respect for me, or I sabotage things because I don't trust my own judgment anymore. I destroyed the best relationship I'd ever had for a fantasy that lasted less than 6 months. I lost the woman who would have loved me through anything, who would have been an amazing mother to our children, who would have grown old with me without ever looking back and wondering what if. The worst part isn't the loneliness, though that's crushing. It's not the shame, though that follows me everywhere. It's not even the regret, though I wake with it every single morning. The worst part is knowing that somewhere out there, Sarah is living that I away. She's waking next to someone who deserves her. Someone who would never trade her love for a few stolen moments with someone else. I had everything and I traded it for nothing. If we're reading this and are thinking about cheating, about having just one drink with an ex, about telling deserve more than what have, let me save the trip. Don't. What have is probably perfect and just too selfish and to see it. Don't be me. Don't wake 3 years later realizing destroyed the only real love I'll ever know for a fantasy that was never real to begin with. Some mistakes can't come back from, and some people can't replace. I learned that lesson 3 years too late.